All right, guys, Dwight the Mentor back here in Georgia, and I want some participation from some of y'all who follow me, not many, but who follow me, to see what type of investment should I do in Liberia. Now, for those who don't know, I've been to about 6 African countries now. So I've done Senegal, I've done Sierra Leone, I've done Gambia, I've done Zambia, I've done Tanzania, and now Liberia. And I think for me, for what I'm trying to do, and you guys hear me out, if I should make this investment on one or two business opportunities that I saw in Liberia. And one of the reasons that I selected Liberia as of right now is because the use of the US dollar, the ease of doing business, and just the layout of Liberia, which is somewhat similar to America. It has counties, it has highways, it has airport, et cetera, et cetera. They do have a new elected president that's coming in, Joseph Boakai. And this season, man, he is focusing on two things, which I love, which really is the essence of rebuilding Africa, or I shouldn't say rebuilding Africa, or improving in a lot of African countries. And two things is for one is agriculture, and the other one is tourism. And this gives sustainability to those countries, and any of those countries. Realistically, you focus on your infrastructure, you bring in tourists, and you widen the highways, and you allow vacationers to enjoy themselves in peace. So these are two things that he's going to focus on. Hopefully, it's successful. And I just have a sense of peace when I'm in Liberia. The short time that I was there, the peace was very, very good. Not taken away from Sierra Leone and Senegal and Gambia and Tanzania. I think for whatever reason, Liberia to me is just giving me a better sense of drive with a lower cost. So let me tell you the cost that is associated with these two business ventures that I'm thinking about investing in. So while I was there, I talked the idea about dried goods. My ultimate plan is to open up a small bar and just milk the Dutch and British and French tourists on a small bar. That's really my passion. However, I thought about startup costs, capital, and the ease of doing business and the demand of what local people want. And so I'm focusing on two areas. One is dried goods. And the dried good business that I got a chance to see is basically buying on the wholesale market rice, flour, oil, beans, and sugar, and leasing out leasing out a small space or warehouse, and having a person work on my behalf and selling those items. The leasing rate for one of those spaces, and the space is probably as big as a room, maybe 15 by 15, is probably about $45 to $55 a month. That's it. It comes with toilet. Obviously, you have cash power and so forth. The person that would be working the operation, that person would be working 6 days a week with one day off. And I would pay that person pretty much the local market rate of about $50 a month. Selling the dried goods yields about 20% equity or profit back into the business. So, for example, the bags of rice are about $20. You're looking at about $5 to $6 a bag, yielding profit right around $4.50 to $5, depending on how the currency fluctuates and the price of rice going up or down. I am doing some more research on the cost of rice in Sierra Leone and in Ivory Coast. Apparently, I'm hearing Sierra Leone's rice for a 23 kg comes in a little bit cheaper, but I have to put in my shipping cost to bringing it to Liberia, as well as Ivory Coast, because the demand of rice in Ivory Coast is just as much as Liberia. However, people in Sierra Leone eat more rice. But I'm not just focusing on rice. I mentioned the sugar, the flour, the beans, and so forth. So I'm looking at getting a space, leasing it out, or renting the space, and yielding about 20% yield of revenue per month. I can easily set up a local bank account over there with Echo Bank or I think it's UGM or GT. That's not a problem. I've already checked out the process of getting a bank account. It's very, very simple with minimum or no fees. And most of the banks, like I mentioned before, pay about 5% interest rate. So that's number one. That's one of the business that I looked at. The other business is I ran into a young man who has a barber shop. And the barber shop is just a shack. It's about a 12 by 12 barber shop. If you look at one of my previous videos, I posted him on there. And just to show him some love. And he's really good at what he does. But he doesn't have the capital to expand. And we sat down and we talked about some numbers, improving his shop, a little paint, a little bit of lights, getting him a high chair, straight razor, et cetera, et cetera. Investment would be minimal, maybe $150 to $200 to get him up and running. Obviously, I can pin him on Google and Facebook and place an Instagram page from here, from the States. And his rental is about $30 a month. And that's all he's paying for the space. Good news is that his space is really in a prime area for traffic. He is in Paynesville, and Paynesville is a heavy trafficked area for tourists and residents alike. In addition, it's in proximity to 2 hotels, so I can tie in with the advertising with the hotels to send tourists to the barbershop so he can make money. The profit that I would receive on the hair cutting business or the salon would be literally right around $1 per cut. And he usually does about 6 cuts a day, 6 days a week. And he's open generally about 12 hours a day. He could actually open longer, but I told him, I said, have some days off and have some time off. But, when people are in dire need, they'll work 7 days a week. I told him it's not necessary. So those are the 2 businesses that I'm currently focusing on in Liberia. I'm also looking at possibly doing some advertising at the airport. The airport has space available to lease where you can have a billboard or an ad on the side of the airport equipment. And I'm working with the Liberian Aviation Authority to get a price point to find out how much a banner is and the poster when you come into the airport. So now tourists will see it when they're going to the baggage claim or departing, or see it from a window's point of view. So I'm really looking at that. So there's some really good opportunities in Liberia. I plan to go back again in March, early March. It'll still be dry season. And I'm really excited about finally getting this going. Like I said, I've just been wanting to bounce around various countries to see how I can lay my stake. And Liberia has great affordability. And like I said, for the most part, English speaking, all the kids speak English. It's a very young nation. I think the average age might be around 24 to 26 years old. So to see a person like me, I'm considered an old head, or, they call me uncle and all that sort of stuff. So, And oh, by the way, I did check out some apartments for rent in Liberia that were decent. And I mean, just almost like a studio apartment. And they were somewhere around $75 to about $125 a month. If you guys want more information on that, shoot me a direct message. I'll see if I can get you some more information on that. But the apartments and the rental costs are much cheaper in Liberia than, say, Sierra Leone, where there's such a demand and you can hardly find anything. and particularly Gambia, with that being such 6.5 hours from the UK. The tourism industry there is very, very prominent, and it's just very hard to find accommodation there. But Liberia does need to increase the tourism, and that's something that I hope this new president works on. He sounds very dedicated, and he really wants to focus so much on agriculture, which I love. That if you allow people to grow and cultivate, then they will be less reliant on dealing with the World Bank, the IMF, and everybody else. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this new president is going to do. And he was a former vice president before. He's got some tenure, so he's in his 70s, and I pray for his health and wellness for the 6-year term, and we'll see if he can change the country around. Liberia, to get there, there's really only two ways. Well, there's three ways. You can cut through Ghana and then go up on Kenyan Air. You cut through Europe through Brussels, and then you can fly Royal Air Maroc via Casablanca. That's what they have right now, and I'm praying that they increase their flights and get more tourists in there, and they build more hotels, and they focus on the roads just like most African nations. So really excited about this opportunity in possibly doing some business in Liberia. Let me know what you guys think I should do. If you want to get in on it, the investment is very minimal. So it's hardly any money. I'm not losing any sleep on it at all. So you have nothing. I have nothing to lose but to try, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to make an effort and see what I can get going here, and I will keep you guys posted. So this is Dwight the Mentor back in Georgia. Hit me up. Hopefully, I can increase doing some more of these videos, and keep you posted on what's going on in the African continent. Peace.